Ladies and gentlemen, West Coast.
Why is y'all standing here? You know what I'm saying? They just like, we just watching. I'm like, why? You ain't gotta wait to be great. Get your ass out there. See what I'm saying? Hold on, excuse me, Steve. And I handle my business. They didn't have that. I taught JK and all of them how to get it. Get it. The hip hop generation kind of like got a lot of people kind of passive too in certain areas, which is respect, but that respect can kind of be taken for weakness too. This right here, we don't give a fuck about you. We ain't caring, because you ain't gonna stop it. This is every bit of hip hop we is, everything about us. We know what we're talking about. It ain't about better or worse. We know how to do it. So what you might think because you saw him do pop locking in Los Angeles don't relate to us at all. Why? Because we're on a whole nother page here. That's you with this simple thinking. With this one person did it this way, and what about the guy? He's so cool. Come on, man. It's bigger than that.
Ladies and gentlemen, West Coast.
Y'all did it right, ain't even right. And we know it, and we looking like, damn, we can't stop them. They just keep on taking dumbass classes. They gonna come over here, see us and nothing, but they gonna go take a student class of mine that just was in my class for 2 weeks. His shit's so long, I got 3 people. How the hell is that? Something ain't right. Oh, I know what it is. It's my tone. It's my, my natural nature. They ain't handled it too swell. Okay. Well, I just miss out on that because I ain't changing. Because if I change, you're going to get tainted, watered down shit out of me. So you go ahead and do what you do and just try to let your students know, come see the board. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't going to go doing all that because that's wrong too, because y'all do have to move on. Remember, I said I don't teach students, I teach teachers. With the Black Panther Party was in my first 10 years. It wasn't over here in Fillmore, it was in Hunters Point, where I was living at, where they were running the food program and the gym and everything back in 1967, all the way up, however that, whatever year it was. That's when I intertwined with the Black Panther over in Hunters Point, baby. And that's what I said, that's what a lot of the, what's up, little brother, what's happening, you know what I'm saying? Love blood, all that type of stuff was language, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I got that from, where even to go back to saying the James Baldwin film, Take This Hammer, that's outside my house, the Hunters Point Bayview. A lot of people that's in that film is, family members from that actual apartments where I live. Those are the uncles and cousins and stuff from 1968, I think it was. But that's my only intertwining with the Black Panthers when I was from 1 on up to 10, over on that other side of town. When I was little, like I said, I couldn't rewrite a spell. I wanted to be like Martin Luther King, I wanted to be like Malcolm X, both. I didn't understand 100% what they were talking about because I wasn't able to sit under the TV like that. But when they spoke, of course, it was a big thing because all black families watched. And just to see them two people having a mass of people around, I said, if I could talk, I'll be cool, I'll be all right. If I have to read, it's over. It's done, you know what I'm saying? So I needed something to talk about. And when I got over here to Fillmore, like I said, it looked like Little Las Vegas and all these other things, but it's very black and it's still very racial and all those things. So I had a lot of that in me, about being protective, about, letting like police grab me or any of that, because usually they grab you, they end up taking you to jail somewhere. And you didn't even do nothing, you know what I'm saying? You just said, no, let me go, and now you didn't hit it. That's what you call it, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to be like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X because they had the control of talking to masses of crowds of people. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing with this craft being my speaking angle. So I brought notoriety to this being a part of my life where you can say why. You know what I'm saying? Where I can say, well, because I couldn't read for one. Because it was a big thing in this community, and plus I want to be like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and have the ability to bring communities together and talk, not community, people using that word a lot too. It wasn't about community, it was about bring my people all together and holler at them, because it was like, I still had to tune with me, with my grandmother and them, and what grandmothers wanted out of all of us, period. You know what I'm saying? Which is go skating, take your ass to go to Gay Park. You know what I'm saying? Don't get in no trouble. And we did that every Sunday and Saturday anyway. Around here, we really kicked it.
Still
like
today.
that. You know?
Still today.
And a lot of people that meant a lot to us, that had something to do with that stuff, actually got taken away from us. So it's like, okay, he may not mean nothing to you because y'all the same age, but for me, he meant a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the one that was willing to take me skating. You know what I'm saying? So Martin Luther King meant a lot to me. They were the ones that gave me the focal point of, if you want to be able to talk, then you got to have something to talk about. And so Strutter is it. Stop the killing, stop the drama. We ain't about that. We put our lives on the line, like he was telling you. We're gonna get to that point. What we did was it was so monumental. I mean, I'm so glad he took it by the horns, because I was really nervous to death. Because you remember I told you I wanted to be like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, right? Well, I had that moment.
I'm Victor Jones, aka Big Homie Creech. I remember day one. So when they say day one, so this is day one right here. This is day one, all three of us. You know, this is my childhood homeboy Elmo, Lonnie Green childhood, and I'm his #1 fan and supporter off the top from the gate. When they used to go to Juneteenth, and I dug in my pockets and made sure that they had money so they wouldn't rob, steal, destroy, and they would stay focused. Him, Forte, and the list goes on and on. That's just in my nature, and I still do it today. But I'm so intrigued and applauded and proud, and words can't even say the rest of it, that he came back to reach back and come to the community where he was born and raised. And you know, there's some other things that people don't know about Lonnie Green. Lonnie Green is a problem solver overall. He had a lot to do with the swashing the beef between Fillmore and Hunters Point. He called me and said, Vic, we gotta do this. We went over there 300 deep, went to Lakeview. So I want to say, even in strutting with him, he's a problem solver. So that makes him an overseer of all.
Got one of my partners named Lonnie Green, reached out to my boy Skins from over there in Fillmore. And I told the Fillmore dudes, man, come up here to Hunters Point, man. We're gonna settle our differences, and anybody got a problem with it, man, they can fight one-on-ones or do whatever, man, but we finna put the guns down and come together. And they trusted my word, you know what I mean? I could have set them up and did anything, but all of them came over. JT, the bigger figure, a lot of dudes, a lot of OG dudes over there, Racklin, you know, the OC Owens, and like there was a lot of main factors like who popped up, showed up, Skins and them, OG, Creature Man and all them, man, they showed up over there.
When he did what he done with Joe Park, because you know things can get political, I don't know, but phone calls come from certain people, but I was able to make a phone call, and the authorization was there to make a phone call from everybody to talk, but do you know what it's like, whether that phone call is made to be sitting in the middle of the street with over 300 motherfuckers from your side of town, and here go another 500, you know what I'm saying, from different, maybe I'm putting it too much, but they looked like it, and everybody got a gun. Everybody got a gun.
You're absolutely right about it.
All I can do is look at my mama standing in the doorway. All we had to do is, because there was people coming up saying, fuck this shit, we ain't trying to hear that, right? And ready to pop off. And I had to stand in the middle of the street, he's standing on the side of the wall, and all the rest of everybody all over the place, everybody checking each other. Nigga, no, remember when you shot at me and woo, and they still going. And then all it takes is for one person to say, forget everything, blah, blah, blah. And my mom watching her only child die for what he wanted to be like. I felt that moment, but I couldn't say it to everybody like, oh, I'm in that Malcolm X moment, for real.
It was a glorious day, man. They rolled over here, they made music.
You mean
JT,
that's
some music for real.
That's when you got to see the progress happen. I mean, because so many people was taking each other out, man, and didn't even have no reason why. And that's what made me, from that day forward, feel like I can't do nothing other than go get my fingers printed. And that's when Professor Kyrie really came and got me and made me a teacher at Wanjumbe African American Culture Center. So I seen that as my opportunity. And working with you, Ben, when you brought your programs, I got all this stuff on tape.
I go by Ben, and those in the neighborhood call me Benzo, but my official name, first name is Daniel. And like Lonnie is saying, we go
Benzo.
we go all the way back, and I can say truly standing here, it's just such a pleasure to see what this man single-handedly have been able to preserve, because I look at the Fillmore area and strutting, which I was a strutter, but I never got the chance to get to the level of Lonnie. We looked up to Lonnie, like was already was said, and you know, we seen the passion in him even when he was much younger, when we was much younger. And it's telling the story. This is what Lonnie is able to achieve with creating this movement, because no one would understand the real book of the Fillmore area and the way, you know, the whole out-migration and everything happened in this area. And the glory of this story is that Lonnie have single-handedly pulled a chapter back together of the entire book. Because if you understand what happened in the 60s, the 50s, all the way up into the 70s and how we got to strutting and boogling, it was a part of a bigger story. It was a part of the fact that the Black Panther Party was destroyed, that the Civil Rights Movement, this was birthed out of pain. And I seen this a long time ago. I used to just always smile, you know, when I see Lonnie on stage, because I knew he was going to bring it. But he had OGs, and I know he done told this story many a time before. And the one thing about Lonnie Green, which I've always admired in him, he respect those who come before him. Yeah. So he know when he stand up, he's standing up for the LeGrandy's, those who came with the Close Encounters and all these other dynamic groups. And that's something that we all should be proud of. When a man is not arrogant, it's not always saying it's just me, he's saying it's us. And that's a beautiful thing. So let's never doubt that we can recapture what have been lost. And that's what this is doing. This is recapturing a moment, because some of us wasn't there. But we're bringing that moment from the middle 70s or early 80s up to now. And I just want to tell you, Lonnie, you have always been, you know, my folks, and we done did all these things in this neighborhood together. But it's just a beautiful thing to see you traveling throughout the nation and bringing this and touching young people and even older people, because this is in us. And if you ever wonder, I can't move like him now, and I don't want to faint, but this is real though. The strutting is real, and I got videos of Lonnie he don't even know about it. But he trained us, and he's also an athlete. He's everything. He's a rapper. He's all this. So Lon, thanks. Appreciate it. Love you. You always got my support.
I'm Elmo. They call me Elmo from Fillmore. I was raised in this city. I pretty much lived everywhere, but mostly here. What I want to try to chime in on is I was just walking when I got out of my car, and there's this gym they built years ago down here for my community, and it really saddened me to see the condition of it. And I seen some other things that was built, some like remodeled places, and I'm wondering why would this place that was responsible for a lot of youth and activities and things that we had to do would be closed. You know, it really disturbed me. But as far as strutting, boogalooing, and dancing, and pop locking and all that, that was very much a part of the culture of this city.
Sure was.
And it really is very, very, very important that we don't forget that. In particular, in San Francisco, although it was all over the Bay Area, Oakland, Richmond, but in particular here, because it was responsible for keeping us kind of balanced and not gravitating too far into a life of crime and mischief and things like that. So I'm very appreciative towards this art form, and to see Lonnie, I mean, he's not a young guy. And to see this guy doing what he do, traveling, and the energy that he had, I mean, that's astronomical. And it really is, Lonnie. I mean, when I look at what you're doing, I'm saying, man, how can he keep doing it? When we grew up together, so I know our life. You know what I'm saying? And for you to be able to have this energy right now, and what you're doing and teaching this art to people, man, that's astronomical, man. I appreciate you bringing that back, keeping that alive, and a lot of us need to continue to do that too. We very much is a part of the same thing that you're doing right here, but yet you're still doing it, and we kind of sitting in the background. But we should be more appreciative towards that art of dance, because it had a lot to do with me standing here today. If that had not been influenced on me, I probably would have went deeper and deeper into what I was doing. So I mean, it's more than just a dance. It's a culture. It's love. I mean, it was a time when, in this particular community, that we had skating parties. We had Steel Seville. We had
like
Dr. Funk. We had a lot of things that I think about and reminisce about that was very positive. It wasn't always negative. It wasn't always killing. It wasn't always that here. And a lot of times these young people, you have to tell them that it was a time when it was positive, because they can't really see any evidence of that. You know what I mean? So it's important for us to let them know. And these documentations that this brother have, all this type of stuff, is a reminder to show them that this is what it used to look like. So I just want to say to you, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing that back. I appreciate you doing what you're doing. I love it.
PopTart one time. PopTart!
They help punks.
This is a great producer of JT the Bigger Figure and all the rest of us that y'all hear rapping coming out of San Francisco. Well, me and Jig pretty much walked everybody in San Francisco through into hip hop. I was represented before hip hop, of course, and all this, and we was all together then. We saw hip hop come, so each person gravitated into something. Well, Jig ended up being the main DJ of all the clubs that ended up becoming the new generation of clubs after we left the older stuff, right? Going back to the solar system and all that stuff with Too Short, ended up coming to meeting, rapping Forte, all those things. Forte, all of us did the Turkwood projects of the street, not just put it on Forte, but this is natural nature here. When you say hip hop, we got all that here, you know what I'm saying? And we coming out the projects. You can't throw no projects at another project, that's for sure. So that's what you get. I'm fighting for my projects. You know what I'm saying? So this is Jig, and Jig can tell you some more about us, and some of this life.
Me and Lon started way back, 78, but we really didn't get to know each other until we got in high school. And Lon was, he was kind of faster than I was. He was a little more slicker than I was, you know what I'm saying? He was doing some grown man shit. He was a little kid, so I was kind of like fascinated with that, you know what I'm saying? And me and him became good friends, and I could say he's one of my best friends and one of my longest lasting friends that I ever had, you know what I'm saying? So, this boy, he got a lot of talent, he come from a house, it was just him and mom members, you know what I'm saying? And, he took it to a level that nobody else took it where he came from, and I knew when he was a little dude that he was raw, because he'll get down in the grocery store, Lucky, Safeway, wherever he'll see you on the street, call you out. And I was like, yeah, dude is hard, and his name was ringing, you know what I'm saying? Because when you call somebody by their first and last name in San Francisco, that's like, that makes you kind of like not a legend, but like an icon in the city, and he's always been that. And, we got so much in common, man. His first album, I worked with him on his first album, I worked with him on his first video. A lot of things that got him established in the business, I was there with him. So I'm just proud to be a part of, his legacy and what he got going on and keeping it alive. And I'm glad that he's still moving and grooving and doing his thing, because he got bigger things to accomplish. And I see a bright future for him. So, I'm just proud to be a part of that. And I just want to say I love him, and I hope him the most and the best of success, and just take it to the sky is the limit, because he's mostly qualified for the job, and he's a person I think that could take this to another level. So I'm just proud of him. So Right on, Lonnie.
This right here is one of the Golden Girls. It mean a lot to me. You know, this routine I was just teaching y'all was from her husband, you know what I'm saying, Larry McDonald, you know what I'm saying, from the leader of Demons of the Mind, which is a close friend of all ours and shit. You know, he knew him before I did, you know what I'm saying, but this is his wife right here before he passed away.
Yeah, Larry always talked about Demons of the Mind. He always talked about Lonnie Green. Lonnie Green always came as a little boy, you know, wanted to learn all the moves. And he taught him, and he's learned them well. And I appreciate it. I just walked up today and seen what was going on. And I think it's beautiful. It's a legacy going on.
Tell me your name.
My name is Trina Lynn Davis.
Yeah, when you stay, you from
I'm Frisco.
Frisco.
Frisco. Larry moved me out here. Yeah, and he was doing his fisherman work, man work at the wharf, and it was good. It was good. We lived well, and then they hooked back up. And all the other ones, other members, I don't know where they are right now. They need to come on, get on the bandwagon, because Lonnie Green doing it.
Thank you. Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
You are.
All right.
And I know Larry be proud of you.
I heard him in my head.
I know you did. I hear him in my head.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so.
Okay, I'm done. Cut.
My name is Patrick Linehan. I just turned 50, born and raised in Scode, SFC, Sucker Free, Sunset District, born at UCSF, 1968. I ain't gonna give you the day, and I've been around the town. And I don't go back as far as this dude. I started in the 1980s. But I remember kids back in the day at Fisherman's Wharf, like Demons, Masterminds, and all those dudes back in the day strutting at the wharf, you know, stepping. And I didn't really get into it until like the hip hop days, the early 80s. That was more the time when breaking came in, and I did breaking for a couple of years, and breaking and me, we didn't agree, but I can lock some too. Don't get it twisted. I can lock it up, but see, the thing was, it was the evolution over time. It's like popping came in. It's like strutting is San Francisco's thing right here, but people started calling popping strutting. See, like the dance gradually changed over the time. Like the original stuff was like the group stepping and Fillmore, and then all different stuff came in, like waving came in. Back in the day, we had your simple touch, like Lonnie, just like bam, like that. Dudes would stand, but there used to be a move and strut and go. Dudes behind you, bam. You remember Lonnie? And they go like that. Yeah, those like the real old school, and used to have the hand waves. That's right. Bam.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you got to see some mechanics.
And we used to have like the group hand waves, which goes way back. Dudes with like link arms and like, and they play around like,
come out.
Yeah, it's like,
this is all brand new to the Boogaloo game. It was unseen. So San Francisco is the ones that brought a lot of things we own actually here that brings you straight. That comes from the Boogaloo game, of course, but because San Francisco is very aware of what is the Boogaloo, we're able to not have to step on their toes. And the creativity for the kid, lane was opened up to be, as you see, others. You don't see, is he black? No, Strutter allowed so many others in as well with the opportunity, because they're not so in the black zone of the Oakland Boogaloo, because that's totally locked. Over here, yes, it's that way, but also there's a window of migration. Oh, okay, others. That's strutting. And that's why it lasted as long as it did as well, too.
and it's not
just me.
It's not. Yes, not as much else to say, but I told everybody that I stopped in '86, but that wasn't. I always like mess around with it from '82, '83. Till now, I just say I mess around with it, and I leave the master stuff to the master craftsmen, people like Lonnie, and there's the others here and there, and that's all. And it's just to say, as they used to say back in the day, bam, let's get off.
That's it. This lady right here gave me a security, like a mother. You know what I'm saying? When I met her, it had nothing to do with color, nothing.
I'm Well, I've had about 4 last names, but currently I'm Barbara Miron.
You can borrow mine.
Yeah.
Barbara Green.
I pretty much grew up in California, started out in LA. I was born in the 50s. And I don't know, like I kind of think of myself sometimes as a Forrest Gump kind of a person, if you ever seen the movie. It's just a person who happened to be in a spot where big things were happening and participating. I was blessed to be the daughter of a Jewish man who became a very famous law professor in constitutional law. So we moved to the Bay in the 60s, and I lived on the Stanford campus. Again, like just being there, the Black Panthers came to East Palo Alto and a lot of other activists. There's just a lot of little details here and there, but basically as far as dance, for me, I was on the way here, I was thinking like, what am I? I'm really like a party dancer. I grew up in LA, and because of what was happening on the streets, like, and the whole social revolution, like we took to the streets, like, you know, my son's 44 today, his father is a Vietnam veteran from Cuba, and he was part of the Vietnam Veterans Against the War, and I met him at an anti-war rally. I'm kind of shaking right now, but as far as the dance, I got into a lot of trouble. Rideshare back in the 60s was your thumb. And we came up here for a while, went back to LA, and I kept hitchhiking back up here because the Bay was like where I belonged. But I got in trouble, and I was in like juvenile hall facilities for a lot of time, between about 11 years old and 16. And then I got married when I was 16. So then I was on my own. But during that time is where the girls from downtown LA shared their culture with me, and it like brought us together. I heard someone in here today say the music brought us together, and that is true. And like it allowed me to express my ideals. Things were different there. Like I felt like a sister, and it wasn't like he said about color either. Like that's the way my dad raised me to just embrace people on their merit. And so for me, like just it was the funk, and they shared all these dances, and I watched Soul Train religiously. It's the only way to get information. And then fast forward, because of how dance sort of made me feel part of stuff, I dedicated my life to the kids in, I call it West Bay now. The peninsula, Redwood City is where I'm at. And I was kind of a choreography prisoner for many years. I'm also good at recognizing talent and getting people kind of in where they want to go. I have a company called Community Street Jam since 1989. And now I'm just kind of old, a little sick. But after the lockers here in the Bay Area, mainly the groove mechanics, took me in and recognized me as a locker. Scooby-Doo kind of showed me some moves and said, man, you can really do that. That was about 5 years ago. He's one of the original lockers. And yeah, but I just do it for fun and to bring people together. And it helps me with my mental health. But then when I met him, I had always heard about you and knew who you were, but I was performing with Plip-Plops groups in Oakland at the Jazz Festival. They just had me come out and just do my thing, and which was the first time I was really seen as a locker outside. And then I met him, and I just started dragging you around town to some other venues. But yeah, we just hooked up, and thank you too. Like, I'm just so happy there's people in this town who like my music and like to get down.
So I'm Rico Hamilton. I was born and raised over here. That's one of my big homies back there. I grew up with all these guys. They were the actual people who got me to the situation that I'm in today. Definitely been some amazing mentors. Even though my life kind of, in life it just always ups and downs and how life works, but it always comes full circle. And sometimes we don't understand why we go down certain paths and go down certain roads, but sometimes it's not meant for you to question. Sometimes you just let it be, and then eventually it'll come back to itself. Because Lonnie didn't even know, like, he was like literally my idol. Like, between him, Michael Jackson, and Sammy Davis Jr., those were the people I loved the most. So I had posters, I had everything of Lonnie, Michael Jackson, Sammy Davis Jr. My room looked at, and Frank Sinatra, I like him a little bit. But in terms of the art of dancing, this is the first person that I ever seen dance live. And it was at a Juneteenth, and my uncle put me on his neck to actually see him perform, and I fell in love with dancing. I wanted to be just like Lonnie, and there was a turning point where I wanted to strut a little bit, but then I was like, Lonnie already got that on lock. And how we think is, I don't want to be him. Right. I want to be me, and I want to be the great me that I can be. So I ended up studying contemporary ballet dance, tap dancing. So me and my sister, we do a little bit of salsa, merengue, and ballroom dancing. So I went to School of the Arts, and going to School of the Arts, I really wanted to pursue a career in dancing and be the best dancer that I can be. And I didn't have no father figure in my life, and the majority of the homeboys were more so of my father. And Lon, he's training people in his generation, and he was like their mentors. And then like a little bit under him, and I'm like maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 or 4 generations younger than him. So he already had a load. And if we had more men like him that was actually supporting the art and supporting the community, I wouldn't have been left behind. But he was the only one, and his load was super. You can't have one person and expect them to case manage the whole community, right? Through the arts. So I was getting bullied in the community because I'm at School of the Arts, and I'm like the only black dude there, which was cool. I really enjoyed being the only black dude there, no lie. And I had a lot of friends, and I really loved the ladies, And that what motivated me to continue to show up, regardless of me getting bullied and everything. So in the 10th grade, by the 10th grade, I was just getting bullied so much in the community for coming home in tights, and I would perform at the African American Art and Cultural Complex, and I'm doing ballet while all the other homeboys, they doing b-boy moves, or they're doing these little usher dances and stuff. And when I get on stage, and then when I get off, the homeboys punching me, giving homophobic remarks and stuff like that, and it really, really hurt my feelings because I thought they were the father figures, the uncles, the family members that's supposed to support you regardless of what your preference is or whatever you look like. You're my family. I need to support you, hold you, and make sure you go the destiny that God had wanted you to go in, and it wasn't like that. So I quit dancing professionally and working on the craft in that capacity. But me and my sister, we always do these shows. When Michael Jackson died, we did like this whole Michael Jackson tribute. It was real big too. So, but the homies always try to set us up. I personally don't want to battle him because I think that he's in a lane of his own. I don't strut, and to me it would be unfair. It would be an unfair fight, to battle somebody and you can't do the actual. I can do it, but I'm not him, right? So I that's not my lane. So. But the homies always say, because in my generation, I was the best in my generation as far as the dance I was doing. I was turning out all the parties. And in his generation, he was the same thing. So his homeboys always say, you got to go against Lon, and they try to set it up and all that stuff. But I ain't going to just let them tell me he going to beat me. I mean, it just in me to be like, nah, he ain't going to beat me. No way. But I respect him. He's still my mentor. He still is my idol. I'm following him on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. I'm always watching him and making sure that he's cool because he is the representation of the culture in Fillmore. He's preserved it. He has it all locked in. That's why we need him in the space. We just don't want to. We need him in the space because as we think about redevelopment and everything that has happened in the community, I would like for the Strutter's Room to be a place where tourists can actually show up and they can pay money to see him for a show at noon every day. We know what's going on at this time where he talks about the history and they actually get a live show. Something like Fisherman Wharfish, right? So that's like my goal.
Right.
You know, I mean, I haven't talked to him about it yet, but that's what I'm envisioning because I think that is very, very important
I'm looking at the condo.
for our community to support it, right?
Y'all put me at it, so y'all want me here. I seen the apartment up there. I was looking like, fellas don't mind me standing right there.
If you're a certificate of preference order, we definitely can make something happen.
I know that.
Okay.
That's why I actually came back home because I know that people at home know me enough to make sense of me. I had to make sense of myself because I was all over the place myself. It ain't just the culture. I was all over the place too. Because I didn't want anyone to miss the opportunity of seeing me as a person, knowing that it was only one person walking these streets that do this dance. So I stretched myself a lot thin too, and put myself in places that most people won't even go or even pay attention to. And that's sort of like how Strutter really got spread it out. I don't take a lot of credit for a lot of stuff, but I was attacking people when I was in cities and doing things in cities just so that people could say, "Ooh, some dude came out here and he did." You know what I'm saying? Then I get way on the bus and come way back home. You know why? Because I went shock it real quick. That's called shocking it. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to someone's school and come in. I'm a grown man. I'll still go to a high school party and sneak in and then and then go out the door, and then next you know everybody talking about, "Oh, there was some dude came to our party, turned it up." You know, it's me. You know what I'm saying? Daly City, South San Francisco, Redwood City, Palo Alto, Stockton, Tracy, Lodi. I did all that. And that was without no managers, without no nothing. I just knew that I just had to keep everybody hearing this until all our people get that, until people get a little smarter. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what really was missing around us was, first of all, a collaborated effort. A collaborated effort. That is actually what Granny was trying to do. Granny from Granny Road Choice, she was the one that taught me how to act professional, become professional about the art, the craft, the whole surroundings of everything.
Well, my name is Kevin Tasker. I'm one of the original Granny Road Choice. When I'm talking about one of the originals, I'm talking about I was only like in the 5th grade, young, knowing something different, but I wanted to collaborate with Lonnie, going back to Lonnie, because I could relate to that, because I was young, he was younger than me, so I could understand where he's coming from. That what made me and him click so much. But I wanted to really enlighten people. People see the art and see the dancing, but people didn't see the lashes that we took, the stride that we had to get to that type of level. People understand this is a very unique culture. Fillmore Center, with this art, this is our stage. We're talking about going back when all this was sand dunes, was dirt. None of these buildings wasn't here. A lot of the old shops back in the Fillmore days, where they had all the hustling, stores, storefronts, all that closed down. But turned to Juneteenth, since we were speaking on the question with Martin Luther King, things of that nature, due to it, the celebration is this Monday. But going to that was the highest level for our culture and this art. When you dance on Juneteenth, you dance the top shelf. So going with that, it's a lot of sweat, a lot of practicing, a lot of precision, a lot of argument, and a lot of whoopings. I came from a family of musicians and singers. My family comes from New Orleans, the handbone, that kind of stuff like that. But it's the sound and the rhythm that we got embedded within us. It's very important to learn your music. In this art, it's very important to learn your music, because the more you learn the music, the beats, the rhythm, the cymbals, the flute, it brings all the body motion, like they're speaking of. It fits me too when they came with the break dancing thing though, getting on their head spinning. That's their thing. We're not knocking their thing though, but they smashing our thing, and we take very much pride in it. I'm not knocking hip hop, I'm not knocking break dancing, but if hip hop can go up like that, this should be on that level before that, because it was before that. That's why you only see so many people we come like you say, hey, what's up? You want to hit a move or not? Oh man, I don't do that. But you can't tell me at any time when I can hit a move at 53 years old, because this is for me. This is for me. And I really admire Lonnie Green for carrying this torch, because people understand a lot of sacrifices that you have to take. Your livelihood, your family, you got parents, you got so many different things you got going within your own personal life to carry a culture. That's major. So I want people to really embrace and stop looking at the outer stuff and all the negativity and look at it all as positive. Because this is very, very special in this community of Fillmore. I just want to say thank each and every one of y'all that's taking an initiative to see what Lonnie Green has envisioned for this culture. And the people that's coming after him and once he's teaching, thank them too, because they are our future. I go to somebody, I show them the flyer. I just showed somebody the flyer today. Oh, well, they don't know nothing about this. And it hurts me. I mean, it really does hurt me, because when Lonnie told me, when he told me, I didn't never see this in his perspective. He said, Kevin, you are part of this culture. You have to be involved in this. All this time, I can go to parties, I hear a beat, I hear a boo, they be looking at me, oh, you can still do that. But I never saw it in that perspective. This is my culture. I'm grounded and rooted in this. So I want to say thank to each and every one of everybody got to be involved in this. They want to take that torch. Because even if my grandchildren don't see me get down, they know where it originated from. I was a part of that originated. So I just want to thank each and every one of y'all and keep this industry and this culture going forever.
My name is Marcella Blue, and my cousin used to drive me crazy about Lonnie Green, Francine Murray. She died of cancer, but she used to always mention his name everywhere. Lonnie Green, Lonnie Green, Lonnie Green. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I knew Lonnie Green, Lonnie, PopTart, Tart. But since I can't even say when, way back from Fillmore to Hunters Point, back to Fillmore, back to Hunters Point. I was raised up in Fillmore, which you used to call Fillmore, in OC projects, the Valley, and just being a kid, I feel in love in hip hop back in the 80s or something like that. Roxanne, and all of that mixing and scratching. And a lot of people took the soul out of a lot of music, the soul out of strutting, the soul out of beatboxing and all the stuff that we grew up when it was a fun era. Like dancing and all of that was like so much fun back in the days. And now our kids don't experience that now. Now music is something I don't even know about now. I'm so old school, I still listen to my old school music. I don't even know what's new. But I love Lonnie Green for all he done for the community and everything, because like he was famous back in the days. Like to know Lonnie, it was like, wow, like he was, well, he still is a star or somebody. But the kids used to always look up to him and stuff. Like he had the love and everything he taught the little kids. Because I used to live, when we was in the valley, all the little kids used to run, hey, that valley, that. He used to hype up all the little kids, show them the little dancing moves and all this stuff from back in the 80s when we used to go to big ball parties, and the Juneteenth was famous. We used to love to come see Lonnie dance, Demons in the Mines back in the days and everything. And I don't know what happened, but people just killed the music, killed the hip hop, killed the strutting, killed everything. It's just not like that no more, My kids was like, what? Strutting? What? I mean, they don't know, all the little dancers back in the days now I wouldn't even go to a party. They too hyphy for me. I mean, they bouncing all over your heads and stuff, and I'll just be dancing. I mean, looking like, what is this? I'm sleepy. I'm ready to come home. But I just love what Lonnie did in the community and how he give back and how he still, teaching and telling about his history in the Fillmore and everything, because a lot of people don't do that, and a lot of people don't know where we came from. Because in our era, it's not a lot of people that live to even be standing here. You know, like I seen a lot as a kid. I seen too much as a kid, and you know, growing up, I said, oh, we used to have fun. I used to love to hang in Fillmore. I used to love to hang in Hunters Point. But now you can't catch me on the corner. I don't even want to be in my city. You know, my brother was murdered on Oakdale. You know, somewhere he loved to be at. I mean, we just lost so many souls in everything. And music used to always bring us together. Like, no matter what, music used to always bring us together. We can be standing on a corner and just blast our music. Here come a lot of people. Start dancing, moving to the beat. Hey, hey. Now, music, you stand on the corner, blasting music, it's gunshots, everybody falling and running everywhere. But I just want to thank you, you know, and it's a pleasure for being a friend for so long and just following you. I follow you on Facebook, Instagram. I keep up with you. You don't know that, but I keep up with you.
All right, so
I always love to be in touch with a legend. This guy's a legend, man. And I was like, when he's breaking it down, I was like, wow, man, you know, and got a little bit of background in the hip hop, but not like this cat, man. Shoot, man, this is a dynamic cat right here. I think I have some talent, but I think one of my real talents is spotting talent. So I know talent when I see it, you know, and it doesn't take too much for somebody to like break out with a song or a couple of dance steps or whatever, and I can say, okay, that person really has got something genuine. So I'm gonna say thank you to Dan and to Rico and everybody's like helping pull this whole thing together. I know that they have been on the cutting edge, like myself, for at least 2.5 years, from putting together legislation to get this, also protesting outside, along with the San Francisco Black Film Festival. I'm sporting this shirt because Cali just got the keys, so that's a good thing. We're about to break out some screenings. The last thing we did here was something with Danny Glover, and we're going to be doing some other high-level screenings like that. So thank you, and please spread the word. Use your worldwide communication devices. Some people call them phones, and you know, let everybody know that this is happening. Let them know we have top talent like this here. You know, thank you, man.
Yeah, I came back from New York and started the Fillmore Preservation Jazz Band in 2000. But before that, I lived in San Francisco for a long time. I went to San Francisco State, and that's why I knew all the musicians around here. And the Western Addition Cultural Center, we had a band down there and played in Fillmore for a long time. And as we were trying to revitalize the area, I worked with Nunzizi Caillou and tried to put a lot of things together. We were trying to get the building down here, the Muni substation, open that up in conservatories. We were trying to do a lot of things in the Fillmore. But before that, while I was in New York, I also met a gentleman by the name of Nelson Harrison. And Nelson Harrison became a really good friend because he's a metaphysician, a fantastic musician, one of the best thinkers that I've known. And he told me about Ron and Jamal. And so the opportunity came last year when we decided to work with his Hip Hop Congress and bring it down to Santa Cruz and do a concert where we could use a lot of Afrocentric things and talk about the history of Africa and how everybody came out of Africa through rap and cross-generational, do a lot of things through that. And we had one African dancer in on that, and we did a concert and it was pretty successful. The Dean of the Arts College was behind it and wanted us to take it to the next step. I said, okay, well, let's expand on the dance. And so Raman told me about this gentleman here and the amazing stuff that he had done. I said, oh, in the Fillmore? I said, yeah, we gotta hook that up. And so what we're going to do this year is to bring him down to Santa Cruz on April 6th and do a concert with the Hip Hop Congress and with the Steppers and some African dance and some jazz and try to establish something that creates critical mass just to show the power of that kind of connection. And set it up down there, but it extends up here and extends throughout the United States, extends throughout the world, throughout the universe. And like you were saying, every moment has to mean something, connect up, and so that's what we're trying to do.
All right. Well, there it is.
All right.
I got a professor on my stuff. And now it's
Hip Hop Congress is a 25-year artist network and 501c3 educational nonprofit, and we basically exist to help bring communities together through the creative urban arts. And you know, we having gone through so much with that, only to discover that there's this whole other culture that was separate from hip hop and even predating hip hop. And it was in the area that I grew up in, being the Bay Area. Like, there's just so much pride and there's just so much, you know, so it's like learning things all over again. So I'm really, really grateful for Lonnie still being around and holding on to everything that he has and having the type of heart to be able to educate the rest of us. Because, you know, I was born after the hype, right? And like some of us were, you know. So there's no way we could know what really was going on, and he's preserved that within himself, and so I thank you. Y'all should thank yourselves too for being here and taking some of this knowledge that you wouldn't be able to get anywhere else. So we want to continue this and basically revive this culture for today's generation, so that the folks you know, I was born after the 80s, can know what this is and take some of this knowledge and be able to use it for what it was doing back in the day and everything. So we're very grateful that we still have our elders here, you know, and our OGs, or as I say, as a New York term, our old school pioneers. So yeah, and I've been a dance student of Lonnie's for a couple of years now, and it's completely transformed the way even I hear music and move to music, you know, and so I hope that you know, give yourself patience when you move it. Like you said, it's gonna feel like different, but you gotta have patience for this type of game for it to really sink in. But he's gonna teach you so that you understand it from the inside out, just like y'all here. He's a master teacher. So thank y'all for being here.
So I know I'm responsible for a lot of family members, you know, back at home when I do what I do. So I try my best, you know, and outside of my family members, I do know that there's a new generation that needs me too, and don't have anything to do with those political lines. But it is my job to let you know that there are political lines in these places and in these dances and things, because we had those times and they went with those times. So we're saying fuck you, just like you saying fuck us. Or we saying hello, we love you, just like you saying you hello, you love us. So you get what you put in. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than a person with the mic, but we were people without mics. So I'm just saying, use your power, use your energy, do the best you can, and remember, it's a community behind each one of us, and the people in Africa, Germany, France, Europe, Spain, and all the rest of that, San Francisco City, just shout out love and peace. You are in the Strutter. You do.